Okay. Welcome, everybody. It's on this nice day, and it's gorgeous weather. It's Monday, March 9th, 2026, 7 p.m. And again, welcome. Looks like we have a few missing tonight, so we do have a quorum. Darcy and Ellen not here. Darcy may be coming in later, but Ellen will not be here. Can I get us to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We have a few additions or deletions to the agenda. I'll read the ones I have, and if you have others, let me know. Okay, guys? We're going to take out in the consent agenda, item 10D. We're taking that out. That will
That's
be,
going to be off the agenda totally.
that'll be off the agenda totally, and we'll probably bring that back in April. So it's not going to be discussed tonight. Okay? 10D. Okay? We will take out also, we're not going to discuss 11B, consideration of the website. We're going to take that off. That'll be next month as well. So that goes. 12B, the consideration of Park and Events Advisory Board, that's going to be taken out. That will be in April as well, or sometime in between. That will be determined. So we'll see when that is, but that's not going to be discussed tonight. So there'll be those items there.
I make a motion we approve the amended agenda.
Okay, before we approve that, let's just make sure. Okay.
That's what I had.
Okay. Yeah, that is all. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion's on the table.
Okay.
We just vote.
Well, it's the motion for phone approval. You approve the motion as presented.
All in favor?
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
It's unanimous. Okay. The conflict of interest statement, in accordance with state law, is the duty of every council member to avoid conflicts of interest. Does any council member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any matter or matters on the agenda? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in the matter involved. Okay, no conflicts. Mayor and council reports. Anybody have anything to share? Tom, Wilma?
All I have is I did get a response back from Amelia Helms at DOT that the road paving contract review of the contracts, it's out. It's not, they have not come back approved yet. So they will let us know when they are approved, and we know exactly what streets will get repaving in the sometime near future. And I'll let Karen Dewey know that when I receive it.
Okay. Anything in particular with Wilma this month? Wilma?
Oh, Wilma, I'm sorry about that. We had the meeting and we discussed Weddington Watch. That concept was brought up to the other members. We also had a presentation from the American Legion baseball organization, asking if any of the towns wish to contribute some funding of $2,000 to their organization so they can keep the cost to their players at a minimum. I believe there's 18 players they pick up on the senior team. They'll have a junior team also that will be headquartered out of Marvin Ridge High with their coach there, but the players will be over from Union County, as will the senior team. And they'll play all their games at Wingate. It's a summer league that is intended to play during the week and not compete with what they call travel ball and be very inexpensive, and make it more open to more people. So there was requests for that. And there was a request for us to look at WUMA to look at the idea of petitioning the county and the Lancaster water system to remove fluoride from the water. That's been a push on their part. I think the county has already done that on the eastern part of the county. And, but our water in the western part of the county comes from Lancaster. And Lancaster has not so far agreed to do that. So those were the items that came up. And let me tell you, the next meeting is going to be in April. Make sure I tell you the right, on the 23rd, 4 p.m. And it shows it will be at Stallings Town Hall, 4 o'clock.
Okay, awesome. Cool.
Sorry about that.
No.
I'm new to the WUMA board, so you
No
get some
problem.
of these things.
Cool. Thank you, Tom. Clayton, anything you want to add or comment on?
Nothing from me, Mayor.
Okay, awesome. Okay, public comments. We'll go into that part of it. Before we get into this, I want to read our statement here. Public comments are limited to 4 minutes. Public hearings are limited to 3 minutes. Comments are to be directed at the entire board and not individuals or the public attending the meeting. If someone turns and starts addressing the public, I will stop you, and if you continue on, you will have to sit down. We'll end that. Public comments are limited to those that are germane to and within the jurisdiction of the town. Topics that are removed or impertinent from the business of the board shall be prohibited. Additionally, public comments shall not be on topics that have not an allocated or specific public hearing time. Instead, public comments are limited to those that do not have allocation time or under the public hearing. I'm going to read that sentence again. Instead, public comments are limited to those that do not have allocated time under a public hearing. A designated spokesperson for a group of 3 or more may be allocated 6 minutes to speak. At least 3 members of the group must be present, and names and addresses of those members present must be submitted to the town council or the town clerk before the meeting begins. Other than pursuant to this rule, you may not give your time to another speaker to increase that speaker's allotted time. You must be civil in your language and presentation and act within reasonable standards of courtesy. Use of slander, name calling, personal attacks, or threatening speech or behavior is prohibited. The audience must maintain order and decorum in their conduct. Please refrain from disruptive applause, comments, or disorderly speaking during the meeting. Disturbances that disturb the order and the decorum of the meeting will be prohibited. The mayor or the majority of the board may suspend these rules at their discretion. Failure to abide by these rules after notice by the mayor may result in 1, termination of your comment period, or 2, removal from the meeting altogether. First one up, Bob, come on up.
Good evening. I will be brief, which is not my normal MO. My name is Bob Griswold. I live in Wellington Woods 4 and 5. I do just want to say to the board, we have a situation in our neighborhood with a resident that's not adhering to either our HOA covenants and bylaws or the ordinances of the town of Weddington. What I want to say to the board that we don't, as residents, probably say nearly often enough, thank you. The board is engaged. The board is involved. Greg, Karen, Union County Law Enforcement, very impressive to see the team come together and help our neighborhood with what is a pretty serious problem. Clayton is our rep, and you might be aware of some of it as well. So again, we don't say it often enough. Thank you for the work and the help.
And thank you for saying that. Chad, come on up.
Good evening, Chad and Ryan, Eagle Road. Thank you to council members. I wanted to reiterate my concerns for Keystone tonight. I don't believe it fits with the character and harmony of Weddington per our land use plan. This project has been a mess from the beginning. The charrette had no yield plan as required. 2 community meetings since the first one was not performed properly. 2 meetings with the planning board due to missing Appendix 2 items. Still passed to town council with some items. Multiple times in front of town council. Since things changed from the planning board, we still do not have clarification if it accurately meets our UDO for open space and stormwater, verified by Labella as council had directed for all projects. We do not need projects to go through the process like this. If approved, this could very well end up back here like a Beckingham situation. All of these changes and updates were designed to make sure no projects, especially conservation neighborhoods, are done right, yet here we are. In addition, we had Morris Farms pass with 8 conditions. We can't have this anymore. How can we ensure this does not happen again? Do we clearly understand what you might be approving tonight? A project as small as 8 lots should have the same scrutiny as one with 80 lots because neighbors will be impacted either way. We don't want residents to be negatively impacted by projects that are not 100% vetted. The second thing I wanted to mention is the Grandview proposal. This seems like a marked improvement over the Beechwood proposal that was on the site and the Jones proposal that had a site walk in Charrette. I did want to call out that it does not have the required 2 points of ingress and egress, but looks like that could be added in place of the community access between lots 27 and 28, I think is what it is. The point of having 2 points of ingress and egress is not just for emergency vehicles, but for residents' safety and the ease of traffic flow. Beechwood had 2 points and it met the UDO. In addition, I encourage council to look at, and the developer to look at the maps of the Ray Road extension. If you look at the changes of how the left turns are navigating around that property, it'll be very difficult to get in and out of an entrance. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chad. Christopher Neath.
Christopher Neve, 110 Chase Stone Court. Regarding Keystone, I just wanted to express that I have talked to some of the residents in that area. I myself personally, as well as what I hear from residents, I'm not in favor of the Keystone development as it's being proposed. Most people in town know that I'm a proponent for 1 acre lots. That's what Weddington was founded to be. Our UDO states that we should maintain our residential rural character. This project has half-acre lots. If we were to go back to sticking to our town's founding values of making sure that developers knew upfront that 1 acre lots was what we wanted to see for our town, that would solve a lot of the issues and concerns that the residents have, which is whether it be overcrowding issues in the school, whether it be stormwater runoff issues that a lot of residents currently are seeing the negative effects of because of RCD developments that are being crunched in. You're disturbing a lot of land in a very condensed and confined area. It also does not give the presentation and feel that residents would like to see. We're taking out a lot of trees because you're having half-acre lots. Oftentimes, you're clearing a lot of trees in a small space, and it disrupts, again, the character that Weddington is supposed to have, which is that residential and rural character. Also, I feel, and we'll see how the vote goes tonight, but a lot of residents, including myself, are concerned that a lot of decisions are being made prior to residents being made aware that a development is coming. I believe that decisions are being made, conversations are happening with developers, and then all of a sudden the public is hearing about it, and we're being told we have public comments, but I'm getting the feeling that decisions are already being made in advance, and that's not right to the residents who we're supposed to be representing and putting before the developers. And so I would like to see engagement even beyond the development, whether it be the park that we've heard almost nothing about. It is mentioned on occasion, but as far as the plans, we're told that we want residents to speak to it, but we're left in the dark about what's actually happening. Oftentimes we hear that council members say, well, if it's going to raise taxes, I'm not in favor of it. But at the same time, the actions seem that we're moving forward. We spent $100,000 on the plans already. Again, residents are wondering, what are those plans? Yes, they're visible on the website, but we didn't get to speak to what was shared with Labella as far as what the town wanted for that park. We didn't get to say if we wanted an amphitheater, not an amphitheater, if we want swings, not swings, a walking trail, not a walking trail. It's 3 acres behind the Harris Teeter and tucked in between the Harris Teeter and Weddington Matthews Road. So we as residents didn't get to speak to that, but we feel that decisions are being made prior to us even hearing about them. So that's a concern that I have as well. So just wanted to share that tonight. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Christopher Johnson?
Am I allowed to ask questions?
You can, we don't normally.
Yeah,
That's
Mr.
normally
Neef,
at this
could I ask you
time.
one question?
Yes, sir.
With regard to half-acre lots and RCD, are you familiar with the state statute on downzoning?
Yes, sir.
And what's your understanding of what that statute says?
My understanding is that you cannot essentially basically allow less homes to be able to be developed on a piece of property. And we are currently doing it. I hear people say that we can't downzone, but with the new changes that were made, the planning board's been making as far as looking at the buildable property and putting that information in, we are doing a form of downzoning by even continuing to move forward with that, which I'm in favor of that, by the way. But we are saying, well, now as you put together your plan for how many houses would be able to be on here if they were all 1 acre, we're also saying, but less homes can, because we're reevaluating that element of the unbuildable land within that piece of property. So that is a form of downzoning. So we are currently doing it, but so it seems like at times we say that we should, we use conditional zoning when we want to. I'm in favor of a lot of the changes being made to the UDO for developers. I think that's great, but it's still not by right zoning. So I feel like we're picking and choosing when we want to, or what we want to say to one resident. Well, we can't because we might get sued. And there may be an element of truth to that, but we still have conditional zoning in Weddington. So I think it's right to make it known up front to the developers what we would like to see. And step one should be 1 acre lots.
Well, you should, I'll take my word for it, but double check it. Basically says if it's already zoned RCD, conservation, half-acre lots, you can't make it 1 acre lot. State law prohibits that, but you can double check it.
But we also are telling developers whether we want to see additional floor plans, larger floor plans on homes that they're developing. And so if we're able to tell the developer what size home we want to see, I think that can be a little bit of a gray area as well.
My point is this. If it's zoned for RCD, half-acre lots, you can't change it to 1 acre lots. That's a taking. Don't take my word for it. You can look at the statute, but that's my understanding of the statute.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Christopher Johnson? Welcome.
Oh, it's my first time. All right. I'm Chris Johnson, 190 Walden Lane. It's 2 parts. My first concern is a swale that exists on 3009 property, which is right by the road. It collects all the stormwater from that side of the road and feeds that stormwater under forest lawn onto the front corner of my property. I imagine that it's been grandfathered in because several people have owned that piece of property before, where it was primarily farmland and not necessarily residential. But through a succession, I've now come to possess this piece of property. And when storm water runoff accumulates on the other side, it comes down across the front corner of my property and has washed a significant amount of soil. And I've had to spend thousands to create a moat around the perimeter of my property. The purpose for me bringing this to your attention is Keystone is going to now come in and build 11 homes, roofs, paved surfaces, less available land to absorb stormwater runoff. The bottom of our neighborhood, we have a retention pond. That retention pond sees all of that water. With the advent of more hard surfaces, less absorptive surfaces, that stormwater is going to be in greater concentration, come down through our ditches, and stands to pollute our pond, which becomes our problem, Walden Lane Association's problem. I'm trying to get ahead of this. I would like to have it addressed. To date, I don't think there's been a hydrology, any type of examination just to find out how the water is absorbed, where it flows to, other than here it is. I've tried to address this in the past. In fact, I've sent emails probably to one of you guys, I'm sorry. And it kind of got kicked to NCDOT because the pipe goes underneath the property. But now that we're changing hands, I guess you guys settled February 27th on that with Mr. Helms. I don't know. It's public record. It's been settled. So apparently somebody, well, that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, we need to address this water. It's going to wash out our street. It's going to pollute our ponds, and it's going to make a bigger problem for a later at a later time. The other thing I wanted to address in my last minute of speech here is the fabric of Weddington. I've been a resident here for about 5 years, maybe a little bit more if you count previous tenure before moving back forth from the Northeast. The fabric of this town is what draws people here. And the people that have decided to set roots in this area did so for a particular reason. What I've noticed is a number of builders, not singling out anyone in particular, coming in, making a huge cash grab, stealing land. And when I say stealing, I mean paying pennies for what should be dollars for land to develop these high density neighborhoods that have a negative long-term effect on our quality of life. I say that being a father of 2 children who are involved in softball and baseball, where there aren't enough fields to field all the kids to play the games. And it just seems to be an increasing problem with the amount of people coming to the area. I think it's in our best interest to slow it down. I'm not saying cut it off, because people own land, they need to sell land, they have future plans. But we need to be more aware of maintaining that 1 acre building lot and being more concerned with how things look in terms of the presentation of the neighborhood. What I'm seeing right now is just a whole bunch of Legos being just jammed into a space with no character. And in short time,
Mr. Mayor, if I may interject, it's been 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
I'm sorry, 4:30. I'm sorry.
I'll give you 10 seconds if you want to just finish
Just-
it up.
All I wanted to say is that I think we should all pay a closer attention to what we're doing here, because we all moved here for a reason. We all love Weddington. We want to maintain the quality of life here.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Tim Petrie?
Thank you. Tim Petrie, 345 Walden Lane, same neighborhood as Chris, across from the Keystone development. Some similar concerns of a lot of the things that I've heard already about the development, but I was recently, I think the attention was drawn to me about the water impact on the front of the property. I didn't realize how much of that was coming from across the street, across the road, coming through his property. I see it coming down. I'm further back in the neighborhood, so I'm driving that road up, and when we get storms, see all that storm water going down. I live on the pond, and that's a concern that the water issues are addressed, not only the long term, but also the short term with the construction, the runoff, the dirt. Or the mud. It's not a large pond. It's not a deep pond, but we have fish in the pond, and want to make sure that that's protected. I think one of the things that we had a neighborhood meeting yesterday to talk about some of these things that we would like to see if this project does move forward. Taking the water coming across the street away, having it pushed back to the other side, down the hill to the creek beyond, behind it. Just because of the impact that we already have from that property. And if this moves forward, I think it will only get worse. And that's our concern. A lot of our concerns is just the impact of that water on the neighborhood, on the road, on Chris's property, and on our pond. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Petrie. Tracy Stone?
Tracy Stone, Longleaf Court. I want to remind you that the people of Weddington do not want a park. I found another park to add to my list, downtown Waxhaw Park. So there are at least 44 parks within 30 minutes of Town Hall. The residents want it so little that for a 7-person committee, as of the retreat, only 4 people applied. There's very little interest. The Wesley Chapel mayor said to me, "You don't want a park." A Marvin councilman said that everything costs twice as much as you think it will. A survey quoted in Real Simple magazine found that only 22% of people spend time in nature at least once a week. Why would you create something for 22% of people? Being between the backside of a shopping center and a busy road is not really nature anyway. Where are the plans for this park? When do we get to see them? Are they on the town website? If not, why not? Do you need to have the park committee in place to apply for a grant? Is this how you plan to pay for it? What happens when that grant runs out? How can taxes not go up? I see it being an invitation for unwanted behaviors and liabilities for the town. This could create something more for the deputies that we didn't need to do, so we'll end up needing more deputies. It will create negative financial pressures that are unwanted and unneeded. Please, no park for Weddington.
Okay, that includes our comment time. Deputy Flyler, come on up.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I am Deputy Flower. I'm one of the Weddington contract deputies for the town of Weddington.
I'll get you to speak closer to the mic if you don't mind.
I'm not as tall as everybody else, so it's been a challenge my whole life. So I have nothing major to report for the month of February, which is amazing to say. We believe through our proactive measures that we've really, across the board had crime go down. Some of those measures are preventative patrols. We had just under 700 for the month of February. That's driving in your streets, your neighborhood, looking at your houses, making sure everything's safe, no suspicious vehicles. We also had 85 traffic stops for the month of February. That's mainly trying to get speeders. I know I'm out on Providence almost every morning trying to get people to slow down. I know that's one of our biggest complaints. We also have, and this is my third meeting, harped on these security checks. It's a free tool for homeowners of Weddington to tap into. We have forms on the town of Weddington's website and the sheriff's office website. You fill it out when you're going on vacation and you get a deputy checking on your house while you're not there. It's just a nice tool and peace of mind to use, when you're away from the house. So that's all I got for you. Nothing
So
crazy.
that's good. As we talked earlier, I just want to mention this, warm weather's coming and it's nice and pretty outside. Deputy May called me a couple weeks ago that this happened now in Wesley Chapel. It's happening in different areas. I've heard it's happened over close to the Y over here. Kids want to ride their e-bikes on the streets, on the main highways, not your neighborhoods, but the main highway. And four-wheelers getting in large group. And there was a potential, almost a street takeover in Wesley Chapel a couple of weeks ago. And when they got the 911, everybody got there, everybody scattered except a few of them. And they, gave them, I guess a good talking to, I guess. But he wanted to reemphasize the point that that's highly illegal. It's not safe. And when you're riding your bike and your child out on the streets and in these large 15, 20 people together, it's becoming a street road takeover. And not only if you're caught, he wanted me to mention to everyone that if you're caught, the child will have to go through the juvenile justice system.
So at this point, obviously we want to try a warning first. We don't just want to, immediately try to throw them into the system, right?
Right.
Our first option would be a warning, education and warning. Some kids, whether it be through, lack of knowing or just whatever the reason may be, they just may not know. We don't want the kids inside on PlayStations all day, right? We want them to get outside. We want them to have fun.
Right.
But our main concern is their safety and motor safety as well. They're not making these e-bikes, neon green and bright pink like our bikes used to be. They're all black and they're kind of hard to see sometimes. one darts out in the road, you might not have enough reaction time. We just want them to be safe. So
Yeah. No, and where I was going with this, this is what can happen. And he was even informing me that the parents could be charged with a misdemeanor for the child doing what they were doing.
in the most extreme case, yes, sir.
Yes.
Obviously, we want to try measures before that.
Yes. But we do not want straight takeovers in Weddington.
No, sir.
And we don't want to get any, so we want to be strictly, we don't want that happening here.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you.
No problem. I'll put this back up to normal people height.
Okay. Yes, we're excited to have Mel Graham Enterprises presenting a new project for the town, Grandview. So whoever wants to come up, I'll let you guys come up and sort of, present and take the time you need and whatever you want to do.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Appreciate it. And Deputy Plyler, I got the opposite problem. I can't get things tall enough. So how's that? There we go. All right. Thank y'all for the opportunity to share my vision for Grandview. We think that this.
Can you tell us where you're located? Where it's
Yes,
at, or-
absolutely. Yeah, at the corner of Providence and Ray Road, a very visible location. There obviously that we're all pass every day and have seen past, at least I have, for decades. So the corner's been there a long time and had a lot of different things proposed, and we think that we have the right solution for such a very visible corner. So next few minutes, we're going to try to share our vision with you and give you kind of a glimpse of the quality and what we intend for Grandview. With me, I have Brent Cowan with Isaacs Engineering, who's doing all the engineering on this project. Very familiar, of course, here in Weddington with working with planning and staff. I have Lisa Gaffney, who's a biologist who's worked with us for months on the trees to meet the tree ordinance and go through all the trees. And then I have a friend and somebody I'll introduce in a few minutes, Jeremy Shoemaker with Arcadia Homes. So we're going to give you a little glimpse of some of the homes that we intend there as well. So that's my team. Should any questions come up, we tried to come prepared. Going to try to be respect your time and be efficient and get through it pretty quickly. So let me go to the next slide if I could. Jeremy's handling the clicker there. All right, thanks. So again, the corner of Providence and Ray Road. All of us are familiar with the new proposed Ray Road extension and all that's going on there. The entrance here is proposed right opposite of Old Mill Road, as you can see on the plan on the screen. 37 lots total. These are all 1 acre lots or bigger. We tried to go the opposite direction here and just do, extra large lots for extra big footprint, sort of continuation of what I did at Longview, except for the most part, these were even bigger than the estate lots at Longview. And we're continuing with the same idea for privacy and for quality. The property lends itself really well. There's no real drainage issues or concerns. We're not impacting any neighbors. Of course, Brent has to go through all the requirements to meet town requirements and state requirements, but most of this property all drains naturally back to the wooded wetlands area that all stays completely untouched. The state took care of what little drainage goes towards Providence Road and Ray Road. The state, of course, engineered all that, and all of that is in place currently. So we're not foreseeing any impacts, any neighbors, anybody concerning drainage. The project is, let's go to the entrance, I guess we could, Jeremy. Yeah, we're intended to make it gated, to be a gated, of course, private streets, private community. The gatehouse is built such that it's not intended to be manned 24 hours like Longview, unless the future residents and HOA would like to do that. If somebody was having an anniversary party or something and wanted to have their own person there for the neighborhood to let the proper guest in and out, it's built to where it could house that, but it's not intended to be a 24/7 gated manned gatehouse like we have at Longview. But it is going to be obviously done well. It's going to be done nice with really, really high quality landscaping and very, very quality monumentation. And it'll be controlled ultimately by the homeowner association. If they decide they want to put a person there, that would be up to them. All right, the next slide. This is a top view. It's kind of hard to see at this scale, but it's a top view, and you're looking at, that's Ray Road, along Ray Road, and then Providence would turn at the top of the screen. But we're just trying to show the improvements, and I got another slide coming up that'll do a better job.
On Providence, like the entrance.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, Jeremy, you're right. Yeah, sorry, wrong one. This is looking at Providence entrance, and we're showing the monumentation coming down Providence Road behind, and this will show you much better. Yeah, that's
Okay.
much easier. As they say, a picture says 1,000 words, right? It's, so we're going to carry monumentation and fencing, and as all of us that pass it every day, we know that the way the state left that, there's an embankment, and they did a pretty nice job of setting out the oak trees. There's oak trees every, 60, 80 feet, I think, Brent. So our intention is to work with the bank that's there. We will, of course, add irrigation, enhance it, make it green, make it pretty, make it maintainable, make it mowable. We will do nice monumentation at the entrance and carry that for a distance. And then at the top of the slope is where we will enhance, we'll add a lot of additional nice looking landscaping. Of course, we're leaving the 100-foot undisturbed buffer all the way around Providence Road and Ray Road. What we may ask with planning and with you guys, you gentlemen and ladies, if that would be if go into that area maybe 15, 20 feet. It's woolly. What you see going down Providence Road is just unkept, unmaintained. It's woolly. So what we would like to do is go in and maybe clear 15, 20 feet of that to be able to put something much, much better like this on the front edge of it. But that's our vision. That would be looking, this would be looking from our entrance, Providence Road south, headed towards Waxhaw is what this view would be. Yeah. At the corner, that's a challenge. My goodness, that corner, the state has left a mess there. You can see some of it. This is a real picture that was taken. You've got so many guy wires and phone poles, and I don't own all the way to that corner. They retained a big right-of-way area for power, drainage, all kinds of things going on. So we're going to have to get, whatever we do, permission from DOT, work with them. And we would like to tie some sort of nice, corner monumentation into our perimeter fencing and landscaping that goes down both roads. But there's so much going on there. We're just going to have to work with all the different groups we got to work with. Mainly it would be Union, is it Union, Brent? Union Power, yeah, Union Power and DOT. We have proposed the sidewalk currently is what you see here. This is reality to the corner, but it does not exist going up Ray Road. And at the request of some members of the planning board and folks, it's been asked of us if we would continue the sidewalk on up Ray Road, which we will do and we're proposing to do as shown here. So don't hold me to this because we don't control the corner. We don't control all that right of way. We're going to make it look absolutely the best that we humanly possibly can, given the restrictions and all the things that we have to work around. But that's an idea for you. Okay, coming in to Grandview, as you come in through the gates and the main entrance, there's a center park area for the community. And it's designed, it's actually pretty good size. It's about the length of a football field. It's a pretty large area. And the intent is to provide some really nice green space, open space for residents to be able to walk dogs and have a place to come and get the mail. And it's sloping. The property there is not level and flat, so we're having to do it in two different tiers. We're going to do like a retaining wall like we show here and have two different levels. And so it'll have two, different level tier surfaces. But it's going to be a nice place just for people to come and gather. We want, a lot of people these days love to walk their dogs. A lot of people like to walk for exercise. This is something that we could implement in that area. This is just simply like in the concrete. It's for different yoga stretches and exercises along the park area, a wellness station where you can just do some simple stretching and whatnot before a run or a walk is an idea that we would do. And then within that park, we're going to do a gathering place like the gazebo type area where somebody could go in the afternoon. They could have a wine and cheese party. They could have an anniversary party, just people within the community, just have a nice gathering spot. In this same park area that's not shown in this drawing, we'll have the mailbox gazebos. We can't have mailboxes anymore. We have to do a mailbox collection area. So we'll do a nice structure that'll be, similar in architecture and match. That's kind of part of this park complex on the backside where people will be able to pull over and get their mail or walk through the community and come if they're out for an afternoon walk and get the mail and just have a nice gathering spot and a nice focal point. Years ago, I did a similar one of these in the village section at Longview. That's been very well received and it works extremely well. It's just a nice visual focal point to have that big green space in the middle. And on the back side of that arch, on that radius, in that big gap between the two lots, between what would be lot number 4 and 5, is where we intend to do the mailbox kiosk. So it's sort of out of sight, out of mind, but a couple of places wide enough for cars to pull over and get their mail and have a nice roof over it so it's so it's dry. And the walking trail that we are going to propose to do through the community would start at that mailbox kiosk and go on one side or the other of that retention pond through a wooded area, and then it'll come back into the community in that little gap you see coming into the other cul-de-sac. So it'll be a nice, like similar to this, a nice natural walking trail within the gates and security of the community, and just a great place for people to be able to circulate and make a complete walk around the whole community, using either the sidewalks within the community or the walking trail that goes back through the natural area. All right, houses. I'm going to introduce Jeremy. Jeremy Shoemaker, of course, with Arcadia Homes. Jeremy's a great friend. I've partnered with them for many years, going all the way back to Longview. And of course, one of the greatest custom builders, not only here locally, but in the country. So I asked Jeremy to pull together some glimpses, front elevations, rear elevations of the type homes that we believe will likely be built here. And nobody better to explain it than Jeremy himself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like Mel mentioned, I'm with Arcadia, and we've been fortunate to be working in this part of Union County in and around Weddington and Marvin and this entire area for about 25 years, including since the beginning of Longview and a lot of the neighborhoods within Weddington. So not only very familiar with, but love being a part of the community and love building this community. And so Mel and I wanted to come up with, conceptually how we expect the architecture and the homes and the caliber to be. It is going to be a fully custom home neighborhood. So what we're showing you here is not that we're going to have, hey, these plans and these elevations, and this is what we're going to build. These are, again, conceptual depictions of what we expect to see, although every single home will be one of one. Every single home built in this community will be a fully custom home that has never been built and will never be built again. But we wanted to demonstrate kind of the architectural theming that we expect to see. And our thought process is that we want, and this is similar to Mel's original vision with Longview, we want all of the homes to be rooted in authentic architecture and likely European architecture. And that can be, French country and English cottage and a lot of other variations, but rooted in authentic European architecture. And there's so many variations of that. There's revival forms of that can be a little more modernized, so to speak. There's not going to be overly contemporary homes in there, but there'll be homes that have a little bit more of a modern feel to it. But you'll see in the depiction, like you'll see with some of the doors and windows here, it's got a little bit more of a current and modern feel, but that's still a French provincial revival architecture. It's always going to be something that still has a very, very timeless feel. And you can see that we expect them to be, really, really well done, really well designed. We also want to demonstrate that while there will be architectural guidelines and there will be an architectural theming that will anticipate, or that will everyone have to adhere to, we don't want it to feel like every home is the same style or the same colors and the same materials. There's going to be plenty of diversity in the materials, but they all must be rooted in authentic European architecture. So we're going through just a number of other few examples. Again, we want to demonstrate the diversity, but what the calling card is going to be is authentic architecture and authentic execution. Then this gives a little bit of a depiction of, again, the caliber of a lot of the interiors that we expect. Of course, like most neighborhoods, the Architecture Review Board isn't going to dictate exactly what has to occur on the inside. Just more of a depiction of what we would anticipate, where some of them leaning modern based upon what we're seeing the market is desiring these days, and sometimes a little bit more transitional like that, and then a little bit more traditional like this. And so plenty of diversity, but the continuity of execution and quality and authenticity.
Now, is Arcadia, are you guys the exclusive builder in the neighborhood, or is there others as well? I guess that's more of a male question.
That's more of a male question.
That's more of a male question, yeah. Yeah, that is our intention, but full disclosure, we haven't finalized our agreement yet, but that's the way we're headed, and we expect that to be the case.
We both want that to be the case. We both know each other well enough to know that we're going to get there, but to his point, not a finalized agreement. That's the plan.
We want this to be a landmark project for Weddington, for us, a signature project. So we want, I wanted to bring to the table the best of the best, the best development team, which we think is us, and the best custom builder. And certainly not only in the Charlotte market, but anywhere in the U.S. I put Jeremy and Arcadia, up against anybody. So trying to bring both barrels loaded and hit the ball out of the park. I mean, we would like very much for this to become Weddington's poster child project, because everybody's going to see it, everybody's going to pass it, and we got to do it right.
Right.
And that's what we're known for, and that's what we intend to do.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
One question came up earlier from the gentleman, Chad, I think maybe it was, second entrance. What's that? Go back to that slide number 12, I think it was, the site plan. While he's going back, but a comment was made that we didn't provide a second entrance, and this is probably more of a planning board issue, but we don't believe that a second entrance is actually required, but we're not going to try to argue that. I know the planning board and others would like to have it. We can't provide it. Some of the other plans that were referred to were bogus plans. They never would have been approved and never would have worked to begin with. So in reality, this plan works. DOT will likely not grant a second entrance that close to the railroad intersection. So what we are working on, and once again, I don't have it firm at this point, but I'm working with the Hudson family, and you see that the one little road that stubs out between lots, I think it's 27 and 28, I'm actually naming that little stub street Hudson Farm Road. And our intention, you can see very faintly off the lots, right behind the lots, that's the Hudson's existing gravel driveway that goes in, and it almost touches my property line. So I have requested of them to let me put up a breakaway gate that would serve as a secondary emergency entrance should it ever be needed. The chances of an emergency happening at the same time that our entrance would be totally blocked for some reason is somewhere between slim and none. But nevertheless, I've heard the request, and we believe that we will achieve that as shown here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Can you have that before you go to the planning board?
Yes.
Know what you're going to do?
Yes,
before you
absolutely.
get-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I intended to try to have it either tonight, but I'm now out of the country. And in fact, been on a airplane and been flying since 4 a.m. this morning. So sorry, I'm a little dehydrated and a little hoarse.
I hear you. Clayton?
Well, just one comment,
Yes.
Mr. Graham. I kind of had the same concern that Mr. Emerine did, and I went to your your town meeting, your
Yes, sir.
meeting, and actually, I think I expressed to someone over there the same concern
Mhm.
about not having a second entrance. And
Yes, sir.
I understand the DOT issue with being too close to the intersection. I hope you can work out something with the Hudsons to get temporary, or not temporary, but at least an easement there so that first responders can get there in an emergency, because while it may be unlikely,
Right.
stuff happens.
Yeah. Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law,
Yeah,
it
that's
can
right.
happen. So
That is our full intent
well,
to do that.
I'm glad you,
And the Hudsons have been receptive, but again, full disclosure, I don't have an actual agreement with them yet, but we intend to. That's our intent.
okay.
And it's unnatural. I mean, it's already there. It's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I hope you're successful in doing that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I do have one question. Being it's going to be at Old Mill, will there be a left lane coming from the south into this property?
That's
You're coming up from the south.
coming up from the
Old
south.
Mill,
Yeah.
I assume
Yeah.
there'll be a
That's a DOT thing, but there's
There's
already a
there
left,
is-
there is a
there's
left.
already
You have
a,
to come out of Old Mill to turn.
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's
but
right
they're
there.
coming north.
yeah, headed
It's a
north.
turn in-
Yes.
there's-
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
turn into nowhere now.
But it'll be a turn into here because when we put ours in, there, he's got the mouse going right there. But we'll do some lane widening or tapering, whatever DOT requires at our entrance. But yeah, if you go out there now, there's an existing left turn northbound headed, turning into our project. It's set up perfectly.
Even though it's nothing there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think right now it's intended, there's actually a little bit of a U-turn carve out kind of. So I
Okay.
think that turn.
Yeah, we can't put it on the big screen, but we can show you on the phone screen if you want to see
I'm just
it.
thinking down the road
Yeah.
how that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is set up for a left
And you
turn
kind of
already.
got cut-ins coming from the north coming into.
Yeah, coming from the north down,
You
we'll
got
do
cut
it just a cut in, and then, you can immediately pull off and in our entrance. And we push the gates way back to give us stacking distance. So you don't have cars, backing up. DOT, we're going to require that anyhow. I think we exceeded what they require. In all cases, we're trying to not only meet the town ordinances, but we're trying to, exceed and excel in every way we can. We're trying to make this a painless, easy situation, ultimately for the board, for the planning board, for the staff. We're
Right.
trying not to come and ask for anything. We're trying to meet every single requirement and then some.
Did you say this already? Will DOT require a light there?
I don't think so. Not for a community this small. I don't think so.
Okay. Now, the landscaping down 16.
Yes.
You showed it. You mentioned earlier you'll go up Ray Road with that as well.
Yes, yeah,
correct?
yes.
Just-
It'll match. Yeah, whatever we do up 16, we'll just turn the corner and, carry the same exact treatment.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
And I know we've been talking over the months about upping our architectural standards.
Mhm.
And I saw no side entry, no front entry garages, or all side entry garages.
Correct.
Um,
You-
uh,
And you can only achieve that with, obviously with big lots.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw a lot of brick and stone, which we like. And I assume no crawl space. I mean, no slabs are all crawl space type homes.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
got you. No, I that's all the questions I have.
Yeah.
I know you said they're all over an acre. Do you have a minimum size that's in there and the maximum? Can you give us the range?
1 acre is the minimum.
Yeah,
That's
I
the-
didn't know if that was actually what's planned. Is this going to be a minimum, or is
It-
it a little over?
It's 1 acre minimum are the smallest. There's only maybe 5 or 6 of those. The rest are all substantially larger than an acre. The average in here, Brent, tell me if I'm wrong, the average would probably be 1.2, somewhere in that range.
I think the biggest one's just a hair under 60,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's a tremendous amount of common area open space. This is the opposite of mass grading. This is leaving all the trees, everything this drawing is actually overlaid on an actual aerial. So what you're seeing there is reality. That's not made up or computed. computer generated. It's reality. And so all of those areas that you see in the lighter green color, is all intended to be, left totally undisturbed. Not only the 100-foot required buffer around the two roads, but everything you see in the back. And the reason we looped the road in the big horseshoe the way we did was to preserve. There's a creek crossing and some, right there in the middle, and some topo. So instead, the only way you can handle that, like some of the other old plans that were once submitted on this a while back by others, it didn't preserve that. It showed a crossing there, which means you would have to have done tremendous amount of grading. It would have been a huge grading project. So we work with what God gave us. We work with the land, work with the topography, leave the trees. We'll even leave the trees for the most part on the lots. And we would let the home builder, let Arcadia and the homeowner, obviously clear the driveway and the house pad, but there will be, these lots are big enough to where there will be a good many trees left in between houses, behind houses, and actually on the lots. Now there's also, as Lisa can attest, there's also a lot of just junk trees. I mean, a lot of this was under agriculture a number of years ago, and what's out there is just what's grown up in what used to be a field, a cultivated field. So you just got a lot of pine trees and a lot of scrubs. But the nice trees, fortunately, are in the areas that were not farmed, which are mostly the areas that we're leaving undisturbed. That's where the really nice trees are anyhow, because they didn't farm that. It was too wet or too much, too hilly.
And this is all water and sewer, so there's no.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good point, Tom. This is unusual for Weddington. This is, of course, county water and sewer. The sewer actually goes back to the system that I installed years ago for Longview, and the arrow is, I don't know if you can see it, the arrow is pointing to it, but that's the sewer line. It actually ties into a sewer line that I put in years ago that feeds through the Longview system and goes into 6 Mile Creek. So it doesn't go into 12 Mile Creek.
And you've already got the easement for that, is correct?
Yeah, have an agreement with the Hudsons, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. We put it I put it through their property years ago, and the point where we're connecting is way in the back of their property where it doesn't affect anything. It's back as close as we could get to the creek. It's an undevelopable area anyhow, and it's a short distance from my property over to an existing manhole. So it's just a natural flow.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of the architecture, what size home is starting, or what's your vision for the size of home?
Well,
and maybe price point.
As well as Jeremy said, these are going to be no two alike, and every owner, every builder, every person is going to have their own vision of what they want. From my experience, I know I have some folks, some residents within Longview that are most likely going to want to downsize. As crazy as that sounds, after seeing some of those houses, I mean, some people thinking downsize, but some folks there are going to be downsizing. They've been in a large home. They built in there with us, 15 years ago, maybe 18, 20 years ago, when their kids were little and in school, and now their kids are all, out of school, married, and got their own family, and they don't need the big mega houses, so they're going to scale down. Some of those folks may go down in the 4,000s, 47, 45, 4,700 square feet, 4,800 square feet. I suspect most will be larger. There may be some folks that, too big is not big enough. There may be some folks that, the sky's the limit. They may want to build a really large house, and we have the lot size to accommodate that. If I had to get, Jeremy, what would you guess? I mean, if I had to guess, average, it would be.
Yeah, I would say predominantly, I bet you they're between 6,000 and 8,000.
6,000 and 8,000 square feet.
That's probably where I would bet most of them are, but then there'll be outliers, like Mel said. I bet you there'll be some that are a little smaller and some that are a little bit bigger, but I bet you 75% between 6 and 8, I think that's.
Gotcha. And probably, would there be a minimum square footage like the 45 to 4,700?
Yes. Yeah. We'll have a strict set of CCRs, covenants, restrictions, much like I do at Longview. Be very high building standard requirements in our documents, and there will be a minimum. There will be a minimum standard in there for sure.
Gotcha.
And of course, garages are required, and yeah, so we'll have a very good set of documents, architectural control.
Gotcha. And speaking of that, I saw like in Longview, you have the stone roofs, I guess, as opposed to shingles. Is that slated here for that, or is that?
Up to the homeowner. It's with what the homeowner and the architect.
I would
what they want.
suspect that we'll have that as an architectural requirement, where it has to be a hard tile roof or a stone roof.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, there would be a minimum standard in the case of it being an asphalt shingle. It would certainly be the highest level of asphalt shingle that would exist, but I don't believe we're intending to require a hard tile.
Okay, like Longview. you
Yeah.
know, which-
But not everywhere in Longview. Believe it or not, the main estate section is one of the sections that doesn't require the hard tile roof. There's other sections.
Yeah,
that do.
it's just most people chose to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and, yeah, a couple other sections we required it for a true European look.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But there are
Okay.
some of the, I think some of the nicest houses in there. You would never look at it and think it's missing a hard tile roof, but they're asphalt shingles.
Oh.
Very long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be a very high standard.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's Clayton. Tom,
That's good.
any questions?
Have them get with Greg and get everything figured out.
Okay.
All right, well, yeah, well, our compliments to Greg and staff and the team. They've been great to work with. We can expect to continue to do that and planning board, of course.
You know, and try to, as you guys know, with our new Appendix 2B, we've done a lot of changing on that over the last 4 or 5 months. Make sure you don't run up on an old version, and miss some things. So
I'm
just
not
try
gonna
to have that down as possible.
I'm not going to say Brent has it memorized, but I know he's read it a time or two, for sure. Yeah, so we hear you loud and clear. We're trying our best to come in with every I dotted and every T crossed and be totally organized. We don't want to waste your time. Y'all's time is valuable, our time, the planning board, we want to be respectful. And we try to come in the first time and try to get it right.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a perfect project, but we're intended for this to be as close as possible to what Weddington likes and what Weddington expects.
No, and it being on the corner there, the town was looking for something that's going to be a nice upscale, because that's a very visible corner.
It is.
And like someone said earlier, that everybody and his brother has wanted that corner at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
For various projects.
Well, you guys know from our example in years past that we're good at doing that. Longview was an open field when you drive down Tom Short Road. And from the first day I opened Longview, you couldn't see the first house. You can't see the golf course. You can't see anything. We landscaped it so heavily. And now the oak trees are about to grow together like in Myers Park or Eastover in Charlotte. And same thing across the street from here on Ray Road, across from this on Ray Road. We did the Highclere gated community, and it was a wide open field and had the opposite topography of this project. It was down kind of in a hole, and Ray Road set up high where you would look down on all the houses and rooftops, which would have been a good thing. And I promised not this council, but the Weddington mayor and town council at that time that, trust me, we would hide all of that. And we far exceeded the town ordinance in that landscape, and good grief. I mean, I brought in 50,000 cubic yards of dirt to create the berm to give us some height and elevation. And we put in over 1,400 trees and bushes, which exceeded the town's requirements 10-fold or 20-fold.
Mm-hmm.
So here, this is the opposite. Here, we're blessed, the end of the site sits higher. So you're not really going to have the vantage point to see from the road other than what we do in the way of fencing and landscaping. That's really all you're going to see, because you got that super dense, thick 100-foot buffer. It's some places there so thick a deer have a hard time crawling through it. So that's going to be the best screen in the world for the town. But it's also important for our future residents, because we want them to have a private backyard and a safe feeling backyard if they have kids out there. So having that dense woods, and it also is a nice sound block, a sound buffer for them. So, our intent is to leave that, but we got to go on the front edge where it's all woolly and just unkept for the last 50 years and beautify it. So what you look at from the road looks beautiful, and behind that, it's just thick and dense, and we just leave it just the way it is, untouched.
And with those existing trees there, you think you can accomplish what you're doing? what
Yes.
you need to
Oh,
do?
yeah. We'll just leave those. They're beautiful the way they are. We'll enhance them. We'll do some nice collars and rings around them and nice mulching, and put irrigation in and do night lights, soft, night lighting at night. I mean, we'll make it shine.
Okay, okay,
We'll make it something that everybody can be proud of.
cool, good. Guys, you
I'm
good?
good. Look forward
Yeah.
to seeing what gets.
All right.
All right.
moved
Thank you
along.
Okay,
guys so
thank
much
you.
for coming, doing the presentation. I know you've been
Absolutely.
traveling, so you guys,
Yeah,
if
I'm
you
not,
wanna leave,
I'm not
take
being
off.
rude to Keystone friends, but we're gonna leave it with you. I've been at it for 16, 17 hours. So.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And still got to go eat supper.
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you
All right,
guys for
thank
coming. I
y'all-
appreciate
thank
the
y'all for your time.
presentation. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, the consent agenda. Can I get a motion? We've modified this consent agenda. Can I get a motion
Make a
to
motion to
approve
approve
the
the
consent
amended
agenda
consent
as
agenda.
presented? Okay, and you've made a motion. Can I get all in favor? It's unanimous. Say, consent agenda has been approved. Old business. Okay. This is the discussion of possible consideration of ordinance CZ 2026-01, application by Keystone Custom Homes for conditional zoning approval for development of 11 lot subdivision at 3009 Forest Lawn Drive, parcel number 071500015, and the statement of consistency of the land use plan. Guys want to come up? I'm going to ask if yes, you come up, but I'm come up. I'm going to let Greg take off with it. But I'm going to let you, Greg, go ahead and introduce it. But stand by for a second.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor, members of Weddington Town Council. So it is March 9th. This is the third time in this item. That would be CZ 2026-1. Application by Keystone Custom Builders requesting conditional zoning approval of an 11 lot conservation division, Forest Lawn Drive. This was previous lots. A revision last month reduced that lot count from 12 to 11. And as far as density is concerned, that's approximately 11 lots on 16 and a half acres. So roughly one home per every 1.5 acres of land, which would match kind of our low density agricultural requirements. There's several references to the land use code on that, and it does vary, but our harshest standard would be one home for every 1.5 acres. And with an 11 lot subdivision, we meet that requirement. The other changes I would just note, because everybody's very familiar with this project, is that the objective of this most recent revision is to preserve as many trees as possible. So if I may go through some of these exhibits again, this is kind of your yield plan consideration. You have 20% open space and 50% can accommodate kind of challenging properties. This is a conservation type subdivision. So 50% of the land has to be permanently conserved as conservation land, but you do not get credit for some of these more challenging topography or floodway types. And so this was the iteration that you saw last month. The addition was the neighborhood green located here towards the entrance. That was on the north side of the property. The most recent revision now moves that neighborhood green to the south side of the property. It is still 10,000 square feet, but the objective here isn't so much to create a new space, but to preserve some existing heritage trees, which the council had expressed concern about removing. And so this exhibit shows 3 of the largest trees on the property, 1, 2, 3 here, now are either in conservation open space, basically common open space, or this one's in somebody's backyard, but is located outside the building footprint. So it's outside the area that tree should be removed. This is a larger lot, whereas this is a smaller lot. That's one of the major changes. But to explain that is that the lots need to average 20,000 square feet per our UDO. So they could be as small as 18, but if you count all the lots together, they should account for 20 or roughly a half acre each. So this is one of the major changes, is this shifting of open space from the north to the south in order to accommodate more trees. That was the primary discussion point of our last meeting. I think adding the neighborhood green, we had discussion about that. I don't think we need to get into that further. It was recommended, but not necessarily required in our code. We're saying that we want that. That was always kind of our position, is that we would like to accommodate that in the best way possible. So that has now been added. And then you can see the 50% or greater open space is located on this yield plan. Again, yield plans are supposed to accommodate floodway and steep slopes. They try to show those both in this new exhibit as well. I believe that to the applicant to describe some of the changes that they've made. But I believe the intent was to lower the density and save trees, and redesigning this subdivision, we're accomplishing some of those objectives that we stated in our last public meeting. With that, staff's recommendation has always been approval. I have amended our staff report to note that consistency, but I did note that the density has been lowered and the neighborhood green has been added.
Okay, thank you, Keith. Keith, Greg, Keith, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Appreciate the time. As Greg mentioned, this is our third time coming in, trying to swing this thing, and hopefully we can get a home run. We've addressed every comment possible that the last round produced the neighborhood green, and a request was made to change the location of that and to have more intentionality on saving the 3 heritage trees. So we combined that effort, and we are saving 3 out of the 4. So that was a big win for those heritage trees. I did want to point out there was a public reference to the drainage, and I just want to rest assured that we have addressed that. Our engineers have taken that into consideration. We know that there's that problem that's an existing condition. Everything that we're building, we are creating our own drainage system that's going to contain all of that impervious into our pond. So if anything, we're going to alleviate the problem. We're not fixing the problem, we're alleviating the problem. I just want to be very clear about that. And the additional landscaping trees that we're adding is going to add to more pervious areas. So it's going to help absorb a lot more of the rain that's on the front end of the property. So there should be a difference when it's all said and done to the positive. And I will offer, for the neighbors that are concerned, off record or independently, I'll meet with them and we can discuss that in more detail. The 2 biggest things, as I referenced, was the neighborhood green and the heritage trees. And then the other one was sharing. I believe it was Darcy who asked for that, asked for the rendering of the buffer. What would it look like as you drive down that road? So we provided that to all the council members. So those were the 2 main issues. We've addressed that. I've got really nothing further to say unless you've got some questions.
Okay. Anyone of you guys want to go first?
Well, just to follow up on the stormwater, where you disturbed basically from the 100-foot buffer back,
Yep.
all that water was going to your pond.
Correct.
So it will not be going forward.
Correct.
So, and I assume where that drainage is in the right of way.
Correct. Yes, we can.
It's in the state right of way.
Correct. That's
So it's where the
DOT's.
pipe goes under.
Correct.
Thank you.
Clayton?
I think I may have a couple of questions. The first one you answered, because I'm glad you addressed the concern about the water runoff, because that was one I was going to ask you about. My understanding of the state requirement is basically no net gain.
Correct. That is an accurate statement.
That there
Exactly right.
will be no more runoff than is currently running off.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
The but it's certainly a reasonable question for citizens to ask.
Of
with all
course.
that, parking spaces and roads and building houses and such. Good. The other question is just kind of a almost big heritage trees, and I really appreciate you saving those. Now, I hope you can put some steel stake posts and some orange netting around that to keep the bulldozers away from them.
Oh.
So that they don't, out as far as perhaps the canopy,
Correct.
so that they don't disturb those roots, because you might as well push them over if they're going to start grading close to it.
That is the objective, is to protect those all the way to the ends of the root systems, which is typically the canopy.
All right,
Yeah.
and one more related subject, Mr. Helms, I think last month, said he worried every time he got a storm that a tree was going to hit his house. So they're, I guess, kind of close to the house. I hope when that house is demoed, that you're also careful about not damaging the tree.
Believe the only tree that's near it is the one that we're taking down.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the one he was concerned about.
right. That's the one he was concerned about.
All right. Well, that's my questions.
And in the green, right now, it's basically open underneath those trees, which will
Correct.
keep probably, grass it or whatever.
Yeah, that's going to, for the most part, stay
That's it.
untouched. Yeah, it'll just be
Y'all
restricted.
Put out, being it's an open green, y'all put out any benches or anything, y'all intend to do anything
We-
like that for the neighborhood?
Yeah, we definitely will probably put some benches in there.
A
We,
nice place to sit out.
yep, agreed.
Whatnot for the community.
Well, I hate, this is the third month of, going through this and working on this. I know it's just been sort of a crazy mess working through this. And I appreciate you guys coming back. There was, still there's a lot of uncertainties. I still think about the lot yield and different things like that. I do have a couple questions about the trees still. And I appreciate you guys moving the green to this. I think that was a tremendous win to do that, to save those 3 trees. So thank you for doing that.
Sure.
I know,
We lost a lot doing that, by the way.
pardon me?
We lost a lot to do that.
Well,
We went from
you
12
already-
to 11
You already had the lot lost on the other side. We're still at 11.
because of the neighborhood green, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So, but in one of the other meetings, I know, in talking about the trees, I think that's the front yard of home number 2. You had mentioned putting the barrier around that. And that was a conversation at one point, when we were at 12 lots.
Mhm.
The pads had not changed, and we were talking about putting that steel or that barrier. I think, Alan, you remember talking
Between
about
the
that. Hmm. It's actually in the front. It's not in between. It's actually in the front. It's the front yard of lot number 2. That is still.
I think the challenge with the front mayor is that that's also the utility easements. That's going to be very challenging to do anything in the front.
Okay, I thought we had talked about that you guys were going to do that because we talked about the metal fencing and that on one of those lots. That was the tree, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Mayor. We had talked about that on the 12 lot plan when we had that as trees between 2 houses.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But I think the tree you're talking about right now is actually going to wind up being impacted by the utility easement.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
It's that brown one.
This one right here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And
That
so-
one, we can't fence out the utility easement, and I think that
okay.
it's going to get compromised.
It is okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this about a couple of others, okay?
Mhm.
Because we were trying to save a few more. Again, those 3 big ones at the front was big. There was. I'm looking here at my notes. The between lots 8 and 9. These here. Well, why can't we save those? Because it's between these here. Is there a reason you can't do that as well?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that has to do with the grading. Your slopes are starting to go down at that point. towards the steeper side, which is a little further away, but
Mhm.
that's where everything starts. And we have to have that relationship in the swales so that we don't have any retainage of water between the homes of the property.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. And that's the same situation as like here in the front here at this house.
Yes.
Not the purple one, but the orange one right here.
That's too close to the house. Yeah.
Close to the house?
It's just for the foundation purposes that we would compromise the root system, definitely.
Gotcha. Okay. So those are my big concerns, and in the previous meeting, and I was hoping you guys could squeeze out one or two more or something.
Yeah, we
that
did
1, 2, 3,
reassess
4
that. Yeah, we did look at every single one of these. And everyone, if you notice, we've got that legend with the color codes. It shows the reason why we have to remove the tree.
Right.
Yep.
I still feel like, it's almost like a clear cutting development again, what we're trying to get away from our, our ordinance, our tree ordinance, trying to alleviate this, do mass cuttings.
Well, the rears of all the lots are remaining as is. So if you notice the green trees, those are staying. And keep in mind, we're only showing the heritage trees. We're not showing all the trees in between.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to, for the most part, be fully forested there.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Did you guys come up with any additions to the architectural standards or designs or wishes that we would have? We had talked about. I saw that. Is there anything other than that? I see it still. You guys are still pretty much predominantly siding, except for some brick or stone on the front, but all around the home it's predominantly siding.
Right. This document was edited after our last meeting, after Karen made her comments, and then I promised better clarification as to what's going to take place. Okay, this is what we're proposing now. I can't promise you there won't be two homes out there with siding, but I can promise you they won't look alike.
Mhm.
Okay. So I think that's what we're capturing here is the intent of the variation of what's going to take place.
Gotcha. Yeah, we were just trying to get away from a siding, just clear siding neighborhoods.
Yeah. Actually, and I think last month we talked about there's material and then there's architecture. Okay, architecture is what we're more concerned about because that's going to make the material, even if it's the same, look different
Mhm.
because of the bump outs and the other aspects of it like that. That's what I'm focused on, is the architecture of it.
Gotcha. Okay. And we're still, I think it said in there side entry garages, except for that third. If you added a third, it could be, we mentioned that, we talked about that,
Mhm.
agreement on that, and
Right.
crawl spaces, no slabs.
Right,
We talked
exactly.
about that.
And basements.
Correct.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Council, any other questions or ideas or thoughts?
No, Your Honor.
I do have one question. This is not directed towards them,
Mhm.
but really how we look at things. Several weeks ago and several months ago and last month, we went through, and it was looking at substantial changes. And I think just as a general policy going forward, when we get one of these that's going to have significant change, it go back to the planning board to get done and then come to us when finalized, and not us having to come and do back and forth like ping pong.
Right.
And come to us, let the planning board do their job and get it right, then send it to us in the proper format.
No,
That's my whole point.
yeah. No,
And
and
this one got caught in
Yeah.
a different situation between old ordinance, new ordinance.
Right.
And I don't think it should have come to us the way it did, but we should have also sent it back to them when it looked like it was going to change substantially.
Right. No, and I totally agree. And that's why we're here for the third month. And, I appreciate you guys again coming back up here. So no other comments or questions? Okay. Well, can I get a motion to approve or deny ordinance CZ 2026-01, application by Keystone Custom Homes for conditional zoning approval for development of 11 lot subdivision at or on 3009 Forest Lawn Drive. This would be a motion to either approve or deny the project.
Well, actually, a motion should be to approve because we always do an affirmative, correct? Yeah, we make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve as presented here with the conditions and the architectural standards as presented.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. So it's unanimous that it would be approved. So the motion to adopt a statement of reasonableness and consistency as follows. CZ 2026-01 is reasonable and consistent with the recommendations of town staff, the planning board, and the council's comprehensive land use plan. And the motion passes.
They need to vote on
Yeah,
that.
we got to vote.
Yeah.
To adopt the statement.
And can I get a motion to adopt this via statement?
Make a motion to adopt the statement.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. And
We move on.
then we move on from there. So
Thank you very much, council.
thank you, guys.
We've
Appreciate
done
it.
good work. We've created a great neighborhood. We will not disappoint you.
I want to make sure that the stormwater, any kind of runoff
Y'all
from the
work
other
with them
developments.
Across the road.
Yes,
Yep.
so that's got to be,
That's
gotta
very
be
fair.
key, that you not negatively affect any residents or neighbors around you.
That's very fair.
Okay,
Absolutely. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Okay. Okay, we're going to go to 12B, 12A rather, I'm sorry, 12A, thank you. This is discussion to consider and consideration of planning board appointments. And I'm going to ask, do I have a motion? We're going to look at Nancy's, Nancy's, I want to say first, I appreciate Nancy Anderson serving on the board, her commitment to the town and all she's done throughout the years, and serving as mayor and the planning board. And so I want to thank her, even though she's not here, for her commitment and service to the town. So I'd like to have a motion first for that position that she had resigned back, I think, in October, November, and for some various reasons. And so we're filling her position to fulfill that time, which I think is around, if I'm not mistaken, around 3 years left on that. This is a 4-year term, so I think she served 1 year, somewhere in that ballpark. And so this will be to fill that 3-year term remaining. So can I get a motion to fill Nancy's?
Your Honor, it's my pleasure and honor to make a motion that we appoint Taylor Green to replace the vacant planning board member vacated by Nancy Anderson.
Okay, Taylor Grove.
Taylor Grove.
Taylor Grove, okay. Have a motion for Taylor Grove. How's the, all in favor?
Call the question.
Pardon me? All in favor?
All in favor?
All in favor? So Taylor Grove, welcome. So we'll have Taylor Grove replacing Nancy's filled position. So thank you, Taylor, for your,
She's at this meeting also.
Yep, Katie's back in town.
so, okay. We have another position coming up, which is expiring a position here. And for that position, can I get a motion for that one?
I'm going to make a motion that we reappoint Rusty Setzer to the position he currently holds for a 4-year term
Okay, so his position was expiring.
in March.
Yes, and so we have a motion to reappoint Rusty for that position. Okay, all in favor? Okay, all right, it's unanimous. So Rusty will be reappointed to that position. And thank you, Rusty, for your service to the board and to the town and all you do for the residents. So thank you. Code enforcement report. Do we have anything there?
It is in your packet, sir.
Okay, all right.
I think we had some public comment on that topic. We're working diligent with that with our town attorney.
Okay, all right, great.
Yeah, Greg, that was my question was, of course, that's in my district and Mr. Griswold and I have talked numerous occasions and he informed me that code enforcement had been out there and I believe you have been out there as well. And it sounds like there's a number of compliance issues that need to be dealt with.
Yeah, I can't say too much on the record
Yeah,
without.
I'm not
working on
asking you
it,
to
but-
say anything. I'm just saying, it sounds like, my understanding is you you're dealing with it.
That is accurate. It is a complex case.
Okay.
Complex case.
Any other
No, sir.
comments? Okay. Update from the finance officer and tax collector. Leslie, come on up.
You have the monthly financials in your packet, and you also have the most updated preliminary operating budget for fiscal year 27. I tried to take any comments that we made at our retreat and incorporate them in here. Changes are highlighted in yellow. They're very minimal. So if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
I guess my real question is to make sure we do have a good handle on the sales tax revenue.
A final answer, but we are working on it.
We're close to make
So,
sure we're-
yeah, when we get Zach's appraisal for next year and all that, we will try to get final revenue numbers, but they are still preliminary.
But we're not going to be surprised.
No,
We'll be close.
we should be much closer this time.
Okay. That was a
Yeah,
surprise.
it was.
Clayton, any questions?
No questions.
Okay. All right, great.
Thank you so much. Update town planner.
Just be me, since Karen Dewey is out of the office today. In regards to upcoming projects and proposals, we have had several community meetings, and we have a community meeting next week regarding pending residential subdivisions in the community. So we have all worked pretty hard to properly vet and appropriately communicate with our applicants, the high standards that the town of Weddington has. Despite that, we still have several applicants who have been kind of active this spring. I had noted in previous staff reports and records that we had tried to whittle that down. We're pretty active in terms of applications at this time. I'd be happy to provide all of you a more detailed report once those community meetings have taken place. In order of processing those, basically we vet them with the public first. We have a community meeting that is not a town meeting or not something that staff attends. We try to receive feedback. We try to actually amend those site plans based on the feedback we receive. And then that's when we look at it for completeness, and we look at it for these details that are always brought up by the planning board and other bodies. So I could say with more confidence next month, the town planner can give you a timeline of projects that are moving forward, particularly because of the actions of the council today with the Keystone project. Now we have kind of removed that blockage and we can keep processing additional applications. So if you have questions about timelines, who's in order, what projects are coming up, happy to be very open, transparent with all the information we've received thus far. That includes topics like public property that the town owns.
Gotcha. Okay. And I'll say this too, continue as you do to, vet these, I'm going to say candidates or developers, whatever, to make sure, they're bringing the quality and the standard and, what we're looking for into the town, and relay to them our expectations. And we're not letting up. We're getting harder to come through.
I commend Councilman Jones for his comments regarding downzoning. That is accurate. It's not
Yes.
that we can eliminate certain zones or tell exactly what we want to do, but we do have the powers granted us by the legislature of North Carolina to have conditional zoning. So
Yeah.
we can't say you can't choose that option, but we can say which one we prefer.
No, and a lot of folks don't understand that, and they'll speak wrongly about that. And I think, when we up the size of conditional zoning prior to that law going in, I think it was a great move for the town for our, I say conditional zoning,
It should be
conservation,
conservation.
meant conservation. So, because we're pretty stuck where we're at. I know Representatives Dean Arp and David Willis have a bill they're presenting for a local act for Union County to relieve that down zoning. They're not optimistic. It will be a local act for Union County, and so it'll be very tough to get it through. And so
There's been one granted so far in the whole state. I
Really?
believe. Yep.
And so once it's pretty much in there, it's stuck and it's hard to get rid of it. So thank you, Greg.
Greg, am I right that a large portion of the undeveloped property is conservation, zoned as conservation already?
Yeah, the way
Primarily, that's what we have.
yeah, if you
Current
see
zoning.
if you see the official zoning map of Weddington, you can see existing subdivisions, indicated as R40 or RCD. But if there's a lot and you don't see the lot subdivided in the way you would, visually identify it, it looks like raw open land. It's going to be zoned RCD.
Yeah.
So that gives the choice to
do with conservation or conventional.
correct.
And our goal has always been, by tightening up on our UDO, and as you know, Greg, to sort of force that move into, the R40. And since we do have conservation, and so that was our goal and our move to start with, is to, I'll just say it, make it tougher to go that route and to force that move. And so a lot of the developments that we've seen here lately have been that, and I think that is working in what we've done in tightening up on the UDO, and we're going to continue to tighten up, as you know, and I appreciate you working with the subcommittee on that.
Yeah,
So-
I would say that any conservation development that comes forward is going to look more in tune with the city, the town, because of the increased minimum lot size.
Right.
And it's going to be very difficult for them to do, being there's the lack of sewer capacity around. You just cannot do one of these without public sewer.
Exactly.
So it's going to be very limited of what will happen in the future, unless the county comes through with a huge bond issue and starts laying pipe all over Weddington, which isn't going to happen.
No.
So it's going to be very, very spotty or very limited on what could happen in the way of conservation developments going forward.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's our goal, is to have larger lots, and that's Weddington anyway. And we've been working on that for 2 years to push in that direction. So it's nothing that's new. It's something we've been working toward, to tighten it up, to force that hand, to force that move in that direction. It's just that some developers come in and try to do, what they try to do. So, Clayton, we're going to move into the council comments. Then I'm going to come back to transportation report.
Okay. I have proposed to council members that we consider a segment in our website, or perhaps in our monthly newsletter, what I have tentatively named the Councilman Corner. And that is a space where each month a different councilman can perhaps address an issue of interest to the citizens, or a project. For example, Councilman McLaughlin and her neighborhood safety initiative, or gardening or whatever. And I know, as a lawyer, I would like to address some legal issues and educate the public a little more about what this council's legally can and cannot do. Not an opinion piece, strictly as Sergeant in the Dragnet Friday would say, just the facts, and not anything that's And I hope I can get some support on that. And, I looked at the 2018 survey, and a number of the major complaints in there are frankly things that this council has no control over. But the citizens don't understand that. And I'd like to try to educate them as much as I can. Or each councilman, if they've got a pet project or something that they want to get some news out about, we can kind of do it on a rotating basis, and perhaps have Karen take a look at it to make sure that we're on solid legal ground and not getting in any sticky issues. But that's something I'd like to see move forward. But other than that, I'd like to thank the staff for all you do. I'm glad Jaslyn has filled in here tonight. Those are some pretty big shoes to fill, and thank you for doing that. Thank you, Greg, for all you do. And certainly our budget and the tax lady over here, thanks for all you do to keep us in the black and not in the red. So that's all my comments.
Well, thank you everybody for coming out, and I hope it wasn't too boring for y'all tonight. We got through pretty well tonight, and I appreciate that. I hope everybody has a great week, and thank the staff for all the hard work. And I look forward to seeing y'all next month.
Yeah. No, and as I close, I'm going to include the transportation with my comments too. Doesn't really affect the town, but it affects the area. Being on the CRPTO, regional transportation, the I-77 South is, that's starting to I'm going to say explode. People are starting to get engaged. The last several meetings we've had has been standing room only, and a lot of pushback on that. And a project that's $3.2 billion. It started out at $4.2 billion, and now it's down to, I think it's because of the board pushed back so much. They had come up with some other ideas. Now it's to $3.2 billion. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. There's a lot of pushback and threat lawsuits and court intervention and that kind of thing. So we'll see where that's happening, or what's going to happen with that. And so, but other than that, there's nothing really major that we haven't talked about in town. The Ray Road, widening 16, all of that, we've talked about that numerous times, and it stands where it's at. I did talk with DOT this past week. I would like for them to come in and give us a community-wide update on what's going on with Ray Road and widening of 16. And they informed me that it will be late spring or early summer before they will even be ready. Now, originally they told me, last fall, going into the fall. Then they said around Christmas, and now it's late spring, early summer. And so what we're going to try to do, I've talked with mayors of different municipalities. We may meet in Waxhaw and do it all as a big community type deal, since it affects so many people. And so we've been invited down there. So we'll work out the logistics of that when it happens. I do want to bounce off and say too, I agree, Clayton. I'd like for us to take advantage of your legal knowledge and your expertise in that, because I think there's a lot of misinformation that's out, and a lot of residents get fed misinformation, about what we can do and can't do, and our responsibilities, and where the town is, and sometimes we get blamed for stuff that we have no means to control over. And so it's just out of our wheelhouse. So no, I think it'd be great if, on the legal side, come out, work with Karen, vet it with her on that kind of thing, and sort of educate the residents so there's not a lot of misinformation still being out there, posted out there.
Well, it's not something they teach us in school.
Yes.
It's not in the civics classes.
Right. So thank you for willing to take the time to do that. And I want to say too, also, we are taking applications for the Park and Events Advisory Board, and that's going real well. And so I still would like to even get more. And so we've got a lot of excited people wanting to do that and just really wanting to get involved in that. So if there's others who would like to get involved and be a part of that, reach out to the staff, reach out to Karen Dewey, and fill out application. And because there's a lot of people just, really wanting to jump in to get involved in that and got a lot of great ideas. So thank you for everybody who's applied already. So we're still taking those and we'll be selecting those in the next week or two to come. So please let us know and don't delay. Other than that, I think I am good with my comments. We're going to take some time. We're going to go into a closed session. We'll break for about 5 minutes or so and to go into a closed session. So can I get a motion?
Make a motion, we move to closed
Okay.
session, and I'm not going to read all the numbers there, but that's the reasons we're moving into closed session.
Yes, and that is NCGS 143-318.11, A3 and 6. And so with that motion, all in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. We're going to go into a closed session.
Okay, I gotta go